Right, here we are, we rolling? Welcome back to Delboy's Garage. This is Q&A number 7, the 7th episode in the silly series of answering your questions. So here today with us we have the lovely, fantastic question master, Pitstop. We have somebody who knows about maths and sums and things, Mr. Dyson himself, and this idiot. So, how many questions have we got, Ben?
75.
76 questions. Right, we're going to do them in 2 parts. Would you like time to count? Right, and we have cake. As you know, it is all about tea and cake, so we have tea. What do we got today, Ben?
Biker cakes. Tunnock's tea cakes.
Tunnock's tea cakes. Hands up at the back who remembers Tunnock's tea cakes. And apparently, this is...
David's a bit upset because they're only 100
Yes, indeed. Sadly, they are. After all the comments we had last time, with Mr. Dyson being told that he shouldn't eat too much cake and he should take care of himself, we have gone for the healthy option, haven't we? They've got 106 calories, which means you'll probably eat all of those. So we'll open those in a bit. Right, without further ado, let's get stuck in. We have 76 questions. We're going to try and do them all in 2 episodes if we can. So here we go. Who's first?
Almighty Rastus.
Mighty Rastus, eh, mate?
If you were learning to ride now, what training route would you take?
Oh, the one round the block, isn't it?
Oh.
With a bloke with a clipboard.
Well, that's how it was, wasn't
That's how it was.
Back
That
in
was,
the day.
That was when it was easy. Yeah. I know what he's
Before
saying.
the beard was grey.
That was last week, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, Grecian 2000 though.
That's it, yeah. I don't know, really. I would personally probably just get a hot rod and just have a truck. I don't know. It's so hard these days. I feel for young riders. I really do. It's so difficult to get through the test. They make them jump through mod 1, mod 2, mod 3, whatever it is. I don't know. Difficult. What about you, mate? You only did yours, what, 15 years ago, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Restricted for 2 years and then just went up to a bigger bike from there.
Yeah.
It was fine for me.
Yeah, what about you, mate?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe the...
It was ages ago, wasn't it?
It was a while ago. Yeah.
Didn't know do your test.
It's that big stone tablet you've got to carry around in your pocket.
Is it with highway code?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, if you really want to get on the road, you just got to grin and bear it, haven't you?
Yeah. I think the answer to the question's got to be a course, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got. I think if they did some sort of residential care. If they did a residential care course for passing your test, I think that would be for me.
Yeah.
I just want to get it out of the way.
You can do these sort of sort of do it all in one hit over 5 days, can't you?
Yeah, that's it. I'd have to just get it done. That's the question.
Get it out of the way, get it done. Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Right. Devon Mellon.
Devon Mellon.
Hey.
Hello, you Mellon. Right, mate.
In your opinion, what's the worst and most hideous looking bike ever built? Are you asking Del this?
Oh dear, his bike is the most hideous bike in the world. Piece of shit TDM. That's my answer. What about yours, Ben? What do you reckon?
Hideous bike ever built?
Don't know any bikes.
1970s MZs.
Dang, 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 dang.
What were they thinking?
What were they thinking?
So because I wouldn't want to offend anybody.
No, we don't
On
have
the
to
other
be.
hand, aren't that fussed about
No, people who ride MZs don't watch it on YouTube, do they? They can't work a computer yet, that's why they ride an MZ.
And while we're at it, that beak on BMWs, what's all that about?
I know. I'm warming to adventure bikes slowly because you can rat them and make fantastic
Like
off-road.
the 2 parked outside.
Like the 2 parked outside in the shed. But I don't know, the Munch Mammoth was a hideous piece of shit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you want a proper answer, the Munch Mammoth, which was a NSU car engine in an MZ by the look of it.
Yeah,
It was like a big MZ. So that was pretty horrible, really. Don't know. And I'm not too happy about them land yachts, like the maxi scooter. I know maxi scooters have a use, but they kind of look like you're riding a big jet ski, don't they? I'm not enamoured of them. But I don't hate any bike. I
don't hate any bike, but
you know,
to give some seriousness to my comment about 1970s MZs, there was no nod to. Well,
to anyone riding one.
to it looking,
I'm not nodding at you.
Yeah, I'm not looking at you, nodding at you.
Because you're obviously a geography teacher.
It's just nailed together parts, isn't it?
There's
no sort of consideration to form was given at all. But in the eye of the beholder and all that, so.
Every mother's loves one.
Yeah.
Dev also asked us to repeat some weird sentence twice, but I can't even read it.
No, we've all tried and we can't say it, so there's your answer to that one. Next one.
Michael Taylor.
Michael Taylor, hello Mike.
If you could pick any brand new 2015 bike, which one would it be?
Ooh, what budget, no object, I'm guessing. Man, that's a difficult one.
And we got asked this last time, didn't we?
We did, yeah. 2015.
And I answered it then, and I still think the same. I mean, if I was thinking with my head, KTM 1190 Adventure.
Yeah. I think so. Didn't Henry Cole ride one around Australia?
Yeah, that's kind of what put me off.
Oh, Henry Cole, generally.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a nice man. He's a nice
Another
man.
classic example.
He's welcome to come to the garage anytime.
I'm sure his mother loves him. He's another one of those, but yeah.
I don't know. He's got 2 bikes as well.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, I don't know. It's difficult to say. I am, like I said, warming to the adventure thing. I quite like that, but I don't know really. I don't want for a bike. I love the bikes I've got, and I'm happy with them. But if it was I don't know. Perhaps I still like the Rocket Free, and I still haven't really scratched that itch. And I think the Rocket Free needs to become a street bike and stop being a cruiser bike. If they made the Rocket Free into a muscle bike, I think I would just sell everything we own just to buy one, because that would be the most awesome. Anything. You've got to do that. Didn't some guy, what's his name? What's the custom builder that built one for Bennett's Insurance or Carol Nash or something?
Yeah.
He made a Street Fighter out of one. That was just awesome. Forgive me if I don't remember his name, but it'll come to me. I'll put it in the comments box. Right, next one.
Glenbourne dog, why ride? That's what it says.
Because I haven't got a car. There you go. You ready?
And he doesn't like
I haven't got a
walking.
car either.
There you go.
Don't like
Then.
walking.
Being so yes, because I can't.
I've seen some of the bus drivers around here. So.
You don't want to trust them.
No, that Ninjanelli's terrible.
Right now. Sorry, mate. I don't know. Right, yeah, I don't know why ride. I don't know why ride. Hey, it's in your blood, isn't it? Like a bad urine sample.
I just did it to follow him around.
Oh dear.
Grows on you, like leprosy.
Like a wall. Next.
Tattoo Bill.
Tattoo Bill. Hello, Bill, mate. You're right. Happy New Year,
One of
fella.
our fellow idiots.
I'm reaching for the cakes here. Now.
As my bike might be cloned to clutch cable snappage, glad you're using
Good
the
word there. Good
Yeah.
word. Snappage.
What are the panel's thoughts? Panels?
Panel. We're a panel. Are you a panel?
Hey.
Panel beater. Does that mean she can hit us?
I'm doing more waffleage than anyone
You
today.
are. Shut on with it.
What are your thoughts on
thank you very
hydraulic
much.
cable oilers?
Cable oilers. I don't know. I think you made this point earlier that you don't oil modern cables, do you?
No, they're very often they're PTFE lines these days, aren't they?
Yeah,
So,
they are.
And putting oil down, all it does is wash grit and crap and
Just
shit
attracts dust, yeah.
down into the cable.
Yeah, they're meant to run dry. I think the answer, I know what your problem is, Bill, and I was going to answer this before. If it was my victory, I would definitely look at getting a one-of-a-kind custom cable. Go to something like Speedy Cables and get a beefed-up cable made, a one-off cable, and kind of do it, supersede the problem, jump over it, and before you ever get an issue, and put a cable on there that ain't ever going to break. So you just eliminate it, don't you? That's what I would do. But cable oilers, no, because I did a video on that.
Yeah,
You just put some putty around the top of it and squirt some WD down and run the inner in and out, and it.
But turn it upside down first.
Yeah, absolutely. So it runs out where it came in. But that's, I don't know really. I know cable oil is just another gadget, isn't it? It's a bit like chain cleaners, isn't it? When you use an old toothbrush and a bit of WD. Right, cheers, Bill. Thanks, mate. You can answer the next one because I'm really busy.
I'm busy.
It's not, it's
You go, right,
not got enough calories in it, is it?
No.
Have we
Working.
eaten a cake? No. Dave Bartram, if you could go on a long distance ride anywhere in the world, where would you go, why, and what bike would you ride?
Ooh, brilliant question.
Yeah.
Because it's all been done, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Wrong way down and upside, inside out, and all that.
You've got Henry Cole going on Australia, then America,
Yeah, as
then
far away as
Germany.
possible, please.
But none of them get anywhere near Austin, Vince.
No.
My money.
No, I think that's how I'd do it. Austin Vince style.
Yeah, no budget, no nothing.
No, a C90 or an
Yeah.
old Enfield and round the whole sodding world.
Yeah, take the teddy bear but forget your tyre levers. That's the
And it would take 4 years.
one. Yeah.
That's how I'd do it.
Yeah.
Definitely, it would be a round the world trip, 3 or 4 years, distant horizons on perhaps on the old Scrambler. And
Yeah.
bring it back looking like it's been through the storm. That
Yeah.
would be cool. Very cool. So that's my answer. Would you?
I think so. Yes. I mean, if you can do serious miles in third world countries, you want something very basic, don't you?
Yeah,
Something you can kick straight at the side of the road.
We could start.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, it would have to be somewhere culturally different.
It would. Yeah.
You know,
Like Glasgow.
like Glasgow. Yeah.
Somewhere you can't understand the language. Sorry to anybody in Scotland, we apologise, it's just a bit of
We
banter.
are eating tonic
And we are eating Sonic tea cakes as a tribute and an apology for our folks past. Moving right along.
I'm moving right along.
Oh,
Stu Bryan Full
Stu,
in New Zealand.
brilliant young man. Brilliant.
Will cutting your exhaust short damage the engine? I'm aware of 2-strokes needing back pressure, but can a 4-stroke have a straight pipe without it affecting the engine?
The short answer,
Mhm.
it's fine. As you quite rightly say, 2-strokes do require a particular sort of shape and
Yeah.
whatever to create a back pressure so they run properly. But for
yeah.
but for a 4-stroke,
But that's the expansion chamber.
yes, yeah,
And after that, you put the
Yeah.
silencer. So
Yeah.
you can cut that short, or to eliminate it,
or go.
little
Yeah.
pea shooter.
But for a 4-stroke,
No.
the whole exhaust system pretty much you can.
In fact, you look at the drag racing 2-strokes, they have the big expansion chambers and no silencer at all. Just 3 little pea shooters.
Yeah.
So they're loud as you like. It's about silencing, isn't it? And muffling.
It's
You
not.
know,
It's
It's about balancing the inlet and outlet. So if you free flow the exhaust with an almost non-existent pipe, you've got to do the same thing with the inlet. You've got to let it get in as easily as it's getting out. You've got to balance that induction and exhaust
Yeah.
so that it all works together, and that's what Dynajet kits are for and so on. So it's absolutely no any harm to your engine as long as you do it right. Isn't it? Next one.
Cool.
Cheers, Stu.
Mr. YZF125, would you go back to a 125 motorbike?
It's quite difficult that, because I never went from one. Because I took my test
'Cause
back
we're
in the days, we're old, and we took our test in the days of black and white. We never rode 125s then. But no, not even a 250, which is.
I quite like small bikes in the right environment, but 125, no, I don't think.
I think. I mean, I've had an issue with this for a long time about learners on restricted 125s. When I took my test, and probably the same for you,
250.
you could ride a 250. If you're 100 mile an hour, you could get a 250. You took your test and you bought a 250 LC straight away and learned to wheelie it. You know, I think a 250cc bike is the minimum you need on today's roads. Roads get busier, faster, more dangerous, and I think a 125 is dangerous. We bought for you, didn't we, a CBR 125, just because you had a little break off riding and you came back to it, and we thought we'd just get a little CBR 125, just get on the road, and I rode it home from the shop, and oh my sodding God, it was frightening.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
45,
like a feather, it was bobbling.
just
all
like a
over the
little
road.
wobbly
It's just not
thing.
heavy enough.
It just felt like you're on a bicycle. I know cyclists, you know, I mean cyclists, they
Wow.
got some guts then. I couldn't.
You can see most of them through the lycra.
That's just not nice. It's out of date. Don't spoil it. That's just horrible. You disgusting man. I think no. I would say no. I don't think 125 should be learner bikes. I think the restriction system now is efficient enough to restrict the power on any bike to a safe level for learners. I think you should have, what's it, 12 horsepower for a learner?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you should have 250cc bikes that are 12 brake horsepower. You restrict, what, 500s, don't we? The 46 horsepower
Yeah.
for A2 licence. So the same restriction can be put in place to make a 12 horsepower or kilowatts, whatever it is, for a 250. Then you've got a bigger, beefier, chunkier, man-sized bike. And I think that's, for me, to say. I think 125s are dangerous because they're too small. And that's for 50cc mopeds.
Oh, don't get me started
Don't
on
even
that.
go there. Right.
Okay, Gaz Do-It-All, or as I used to call him, Gaz Do-It-All.
Doito. Get up, Doito.
There's a confession for you.
Can't read it. Cheers, guys. All right, mate.
Fellow idiot.
What we got? Fellow Idiot Collective member.
Winter time bikes are laid up, waiting for the daffodils to come out.
Are they? Not in their house, eh?
No.
What's all that about, you girl?
So
Go
there
on.
you are, itching to go out and play. What would be the top things to check before you head for the twisties?
I mean, if it's been laid up all winter,
Yeah.
give it a service.
Yeah.
Give it a proper service.
Proper service.
And all the rudimentary checks that go with it, all the usual stuff of,
Yeah.
you know,
All your pre-ride checks.
Yeah, all the
Dump the
big-
petrol
yeah.
and put fresh
Yeah.
in. Dump the oil
Yeah.
and put fresh in. Even dump the coolant. Put
Yeah,
fresh in. You
yeah.
know, any chemical mixture that's been hanging around stationary for a long time is going to deteriorate, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that needs all replacing. Tyres,
Yeah.
pump them right up. You know, scrub them out with some soapy water, get everything clean. I don't know really. Isn't it?
yeah,
It's
so
just
just
a
give
tentative.
it a service. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's essentially it.
Yeah, just give it a
Um,
good service. Yeah, I'd say, and obviously your gear as well.
Yeah.
Give your gear a good,
Yeah.
you know, make sure you can, things like washing the jacket, getting it all freshened up, little things like that. But really, I think what you said, give it a good old service as if it's a major service, even if necessary, check your shims, valve clearances,
Yeah,
do all
why
that
not?
sort of thing.
Why not? But I mean, the obvious things are the tyre pressures, but then you should be doing those regularly anyway.
You should,
so.
yeah, they should be part of your riding regime. Cool. Cheers, mate.
All I'm going to say is, hello, blah blah. I'm not saying another word.
What was that one?
Blah blah.
Oh yeah, I remember
I'm
that
not
question, yeah. He's a
very
one,
rude.
isn't
He's very rude.
he?
That's what you get.
Just saying, mate, hey, just saying. Right, next, moving right along.
Nicola.
Read what you put. Read what you put.
Everyone's going to want to know what he says now.
Oh yes, yes.
That's embarrassing.
I remember reading that one.
Yeah,
Embarrassing.
yeah, exactly.
Mikola 1406, what is the best way to keep rust off the bike in the winter without covering it in wax?
Move to New Zealand.
Yes, North Island. I don't know really, that's a long old subject, isn't it? Keep it clean is ultimately what it's about. When you get home from a ride, rinse it off and then dry it. You can buy product. Have you seen those blaster gun things? They do them in the Harley Davidson catalogues and magazines, where you buy what looks like a giant hairdryer. It's like a great big thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it blows hot air, and they blast so fast they'll dry the bike completely. So you basically wash it and dry it all off, so it gets it dry. Store it in a dry garage, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a dry garage, dehumidifier, heat or whatever, if you can afford it, or a bubble.
Yeah. And if you are laying the bike up for a period of time, take the trouble to take bits off. Take the tank off, get it clean and what them underneath. Take
Is he talking maybe about riding it and keeping it off the while you ride?
It doesn't say.
Just keep the rust off.
But it's a question of, it's things like the salt and whatever that's on the road, get a shot of that and get it dry.
Yeah, rust is rust, isn't it? It's just the laws of physics.
Well, he had a second question.
WD-40 and stuff like that, isn't it? And ACF 50.
Don't go anywhere near your brakes.
Yeah, not that you want to stop.
Yeah.
And through FS365, there's loads of products you can use then.
His second question was why bike manufacturers not included MPG figures in their products,
No.
spreadsheets, promos and blurbs.
Well, if I answer this, there's a danger my cynicism will show through.
Go for it, mate. You do it. I'll enjoy my tea for a minute.
Car and motorcycle manufacturers have recently been tripped up a little bit on fudging the figures on their MPG claims. So I think they're all shying away from making any claims at all at the moment, because I think they're just
It's also not constant.
Slightly embarrassed.
But it's not constant, is it?
No.
How heavy is the rider? Where are you riding? What kind of riding is it? What fuel are you using? You were saying this morning, some bikes on a higher octane fuel will give you better MPG than on low octane fuel. So there are too many variables. So I think you can't publish something that's not a constant.
And I think this is where the manufacturers have fallen down, because they were taking the very best of every possible.
Well, it's like they can publish
merging it to make some fantastic figure.
That's why they don't give at all. When you look at bikers.com, which I use for reference, you've got things that are constant, like the seat height, the number of wheels. It's easy because they're always going to be there. But figures like that, they're too variable, and I think that's why they're fudging it. Cool. Next.
Paul Bickley, Iona
Cool.
He's got his new ZZR 1400.
Cool.
Very cool.
Cool.
When I complained to the dealer about pre-ignition under load at low revs, they recommended using high-octane fuel. They state they are seeing more and more of the same thing with new high-output machines. But I've tried several I've tried super for several tanks. Put my teeth in. Not supermarket fuel, and the bike is the same. Is there anything special about super, or should we just use our engines rationed up on the map?
Well, that's a difficult one. Now, Harley Davidson have always recommended using high octane fuel, haven't they? The highest octane you get your hands on, because they run so lean. This is all about European legislation insisting that bikes come into the country tuned so lean that they almost fart flowers out the back end. You know, they mustn't make any smells. And of course, an engine, an internal sorry, would you like a minute? An internal combustion engine makes a smelly mess. It stinks, it makes carbon monoxide, and it should, and then it will be burning correctly. When we had your first Harley, remember, it was running so lean the day we got it. We took an Allen Paul key and you could cook eggs on the bike next to it. It was hideous. So we got a Kitec Pro fueler, didn't we? And we richened up the mixture with a piggyback fueler, and it was great, wasn't it? It ran cooler, it ticked over slower, it was smoother, and it actually gave the same MPG and loads more grunt. And what you saying the same
about
thing?
my SV1000? Yeah, I mean my SV1000 is virtually stock. There's no power commander on it. I mean it doesn't. It don't. Yeah, I know. It's folding.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have aftermarket silencers on it, but I find a massive gulf of difference in performance and particularly the temperature it runs at, with a decent fuel in it, with the top fuel.
I think the fundamental question there is a brand new bike, isn't it?
If it's a brand new bike.
If it wasn't, I'd say go and fit a power commander and get it tuned. That's the answer. Get some race cans on it, which they have to have because it's the law, and make it loud, and get an air filter change, and get a power commander and tune it. But it's a new bike, and you're talking about the dealer fobbing you off with XYZ. So I don't know, you can't buy 4-star anymore.
No.
We run cat converters in the exhausts, which is why they weigh as much as Hampshire. Throw them out and it'll go faster because it weighs so much. They're losing a pillion off the back, you know. So I would say look into the prospect of a power commander and doing the usual can and inlet stuff, and you'll probably find it be absolutely fine. I don't think it's the fault of the dealer. I don't think the retailer who sold you it's done anything wrong. It could just be the 2014 bikes now.
Yeah.
So it's only ever going to go that way, isn't it?
Yeah,
We're
I
going
mean,
to end up burning neat water, aren't we?
And, I mean, the emissions do get stricter and stricter, don't they? It's, wow.
Honestly, they want bikes to be quite. What was it? Remember, it was I think the first ever Yamaha X-Ups. They had so much foam on the inside of the exhaust to quiet the engine, because the exhaust, the big old bin-lid exhaust, was so quiet the engine was louder, and they forced Yamaha to make the engines quieter by putting thick foam on the inside of the fairings, and they were catching fire because it was getting too hot. So they have to use a special fireproof foam. You know, that's the point, isn't it? It's all about the legislation. So basically, tune it and set it free, mate. You'll find that thing will literally makes the world stand still when you nail them, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, they are nice.
They are rather brilliant.
Rocket ship
That's
stuff.
Steve's one, or Chris's one, isn't it? Steve or Chris are both at one.
Proper rocket ships.
Yeah, they are. Next one.
Kieran BBB.
Kieran, hello mate.
What YouTubers do you watch?
Ooh.
Gonna give this to you.
Well, I'm going to mention lots is the answer, isn't it?
There is lots.
Lots.
There is lots.
We watch all sorts, but I want to mention one in particular and take this opportunity because a very good friend Milo of Milo Garage just passed away on Christmas Eve. So I used to watch Milo all the time. If you watch this channel, you've heard me mention Milo over and over again. He was my go-to mentor for paintwork. I think 40 odd years in the industry, and sadly he passed away on Christmas Eve, which is a terrible shame, terrible loss to the world, his lovely wife and family. So I would say dedicate this video to Milo. You know, he's a lovely, lovely person. Milo Garage, one word. Hundreds of videos there. Just go and watch him. A proper legend, a really cool fella, Californian in every way, wasn't he? Could restore anything, could build anything. That's who I used to watch. That's who I got loads of people. I said before, Dan Bethel started me off, because Dan Bethel's videos and Bethel Brothers Hot Rod were great, and then lots of others along the way. But Milo stands out as the one person who was constant. So that's all I. And God rest him.
Clean cups.
Clean your cups. God rest you, Milo. Wherever you are, my friend, you're painting something.
Right. Robert Reed. Dale, what's the best piece of advice your granddad gave you with regard to engineering or bikes? And then there's the second part, which I'll finish in a minute.
The only thing I can say, no single one piece of advice, just a mentality to say, ask yourself, how hard can it be? It's become the mantra of the t-shirts we do in the garage. Ask yourself a question, how hard can it be? That's what he would say to me. It can't be difficult, can it? How hard can it be? And that mentality is what I took from his wisdom, and upon which I go forward.
And you used to add Monkey Boy to the end of it.
That's where that came from as well, I'm afraid.
Nice granddad.
Nice granddad, he was.
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't really know my grandparents because one got blown to bits in Belgium, and yeah, but it's that point of view, isn't it? It's as you say, it's not one specific piece of advice. It's just a way.
Make do amend.
Yeah, it's
mentality, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, fix it yourself.
Yeah.
Sidestep the dealer. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good question, mate.
Use what you got.
Use what you have.
And the second part of his question was, do you have a special tool?
Steady.
I
Steady.
Steady.
Is this before the watershed?
We can always play this after 9, can't we? Go on then.
No, you would not be without, because although you use it very rarely, when you need it, it saves you time.
Well, she calls me a tool now and again. Is that any good? Actually, I have. I've got them now. Hair pliers. There we are. Sorry to turn me back. There we go. Where are they? There they are. Oh, I got them from my granddad.
I could use them as my waffleage tool.
You could, yeah. They'd be, yeah. Look at that. 1930 something.
Very nice too.
Proper old. But feel the action on that. I mean, they're what, 70 years old.
Oh, that's nice.
They're beautiful, aren't they? Really nicely made. So I'd say yeah, they're very special.
This way because I don't get hit by them.
Yes. I'd say yeah, that's beautiful old pair of long handled pliers that I've had ever since I was about 13. My granddad gave me them. Right. Yes.
Aaron Johnson says he's got a Mark 1 600 Bandit. The front calipers bind when it's been sat overnight in the cold, close to freezing. In the early morning, it sort of starts. Then they get completely stuck on. But on a mild morning, it's not a problem. Okay. And they don't bind the rest of the time.
Okay.
What does he do?
We've done 3 videos on this in the past. They are full of water. Inside the braking system, you've got a lot of moisture in the fluid, and it is hydroscopic.
Yeah, whichever way around it is.
Hydroscopic, which means that the brake fluid absorbs moisture, water from the atmosphere that comes in through the breather that lives in the top of your reservoir, and that obviously subject to a really, really freezing cold night, that it freezes, and anything that freezes expands. And as it expands, it's pushing the pads out the bottom end. Also, you've probably got salt corrosion and gunge that's sticking them, and it's getting damp overnight, and that's sticking. So as you run them along, they get hot, that expands further, so therefore they just seize up. So what they need is pulling it apart, stripping right back to their underpants, cleaning, putting together with new seals and new fluid, and they'll be as good as gold. And there's 2 or 3 videos, so let me know if you don't find them, and I'll give you links to all of them so you can do it yourself.
But that fluid must be changed.
Absolutely, every 2 years change your brake fluid, because it deteriorates like milk goes off. It's got to be changed, otherwise this is the problem you're getting.
Okay. Old Brat Rider, is it acceptable to soak the right carb on a 2003 Bonneville? I'm worried about the throttle position sensor.
TPS.
May sound like a dumb question, but Triumph says not to take the sensor off the carb.
Yeah, don't they always?
I have a serious stumble in the lower RPM range, and it's been narrowed down to the carb.
Right.
Well, first thing is, I mean, I've not looked into this particular carb specifically, but I don't know why you wouldn't be able to take the throttle position sensor off.
Well, I think on that one, on the comments box, I think Greg answered you on that and said just take it off and forget about it.
Yeah.
I would go for advice on this. I can't answer this one.
No, I'm not 100% sure.
Because I haven't done it on mine, mine's still there. I would say go to the Triumph Rat forum, triumphrat.net, and pose the question. You'll probably find it's already been posed in their garage section, and they'll tell you all about it. So certainly I would say give that a go. Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
Nicola Robinson. Hi Nicola.
Hey Nick, I'm
Met her at the Bulldog.
Yes, we did. Stay there. Just going to do something on the camera. Make sure we're still online. Yes, we are. Now we can tell if it's stopped recording. Just in case it's still will stop recording.
Yeah.
Right.
Silly waffling.
Nicola, yeah, we met at the Bulldog Bash. Watch out. Lovely bike.
What project would you like to do, even if it's a pipe dream? Like generally a street hawk, a wild bike, a
Street
car?
hawk.
Penny, what would you do, as you have good talent? Nicola, thank you. Actually, I'm doing my project at the moment. It's not a wild one, but I'm gradually working through my Bonneville, and I've got something coming up in January.
So we're doing that, right?
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, work in progress. That's a good way to say anything. It's not finished.
Yeah, that's everything.
What about you, mate?
Everything I do is work in progress. I have sort of quite fixed ideas about what I'd like to build if I ever had the time and all the rest of it. And I suppose it's a product of my age. I mean, I look back to the kind of custom bikes that were kicking about in the sort of 70s and early 80s, and that sort of. And I'm big on minimalism. I don't like fussy, overblown.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the way now, isn't it?
I like clean lines. I like, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And for me, probably it'd have to be a sort of 70s Triumph Twin as a power plant.
Really?
Yeah.
Sure, it can haul you up the road?
Well, might have to push it.
Get some high octane fuel.
I'll buy a pickup.
That's the one. Put it in. So you need to come with one, don't they? I don't know. I'd say it'd be a rocket-free. They're a rocket-free engine. Do something mad with a rocket-free engine. I've seen the concepts of German Street Fighter had one sideways on, which I thought was quite mental. That's massive. It looked great. Because my favourite kind of muscle bike was always the Z1300.
Yeah.
And that looked like it had a block of flats in the frame, didn't it? This massive, great 6-cylinder motor. So something mad, a big mad car engine project, that would be cool. But getting round to it, time in the day. When do you? And the room. Yeah, this is it.
Ethan Senior, I'm just about to turn 17 and get 125. I want to change the end can, not the whole system, and notice that it has oxygen sensors in. Is it alright to change it without a remap, or will I ruin the brains of my bike?
Should be fine.
The end can won't have oxygen sensors, they'll be in the pipe. So the end can is just if you're going to put a particularly free-flowing one, you might need to talk to the dealer and they might need to remap it. I think I can.
Although to some degree the oxygen sensors actually work to your advantage.
Yeah. Well, they're done. By the time the gases get to the oxygen sensor and they sense the oxygen, clever that, isn't it?
Yeah, the clue's in the name.
That's it. Once that's done, anything after that is irrelevant. The same with Harleys, isn't it? You can take the mufflers off your Harley and put straight through ones on. As long as you leave everything forward of that alone, it doesn't do any harm. But do check with the dealer, because 125s, they're often quite a balance, aren't they? They're often quite delicate. You can mess them up quite easily because there's not much power to them, is there?
I suppose not. No.
They've got about 12 horsepower less.
They're living on the edge already.
They are. They're bringing every gut out of it there. So I don't know. Check with the dealer, but I would say no. You should be okay. Especially
Next one. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
UK K02, Nige.
Oh, Nige, hi, mate. Nice to see you.
Brake pads. Difference between sintered and resin based. Do they make any difference in wet, cold, or
I think
winter
one's
weather?
more expensive, isn't it? And the other one runs
One's
out.
got one in front.
Yeah. That's right. I think that's the problem. I think is what you could afford at the time, isn't it?
And it's horses for courses as well, really, isn't it?
No brake pad. What bike's it going in? If it's going in a YZR 125 or a ZZR 1400, it's horses for courses, exactly. So I'd say there's no real difference, is there?
Right.
They're both going to be adequate.
Sintered pads will wear your discs out faster.
Yeah, they will. It's a balance of performance and economy, isn't it? Same again. So it's how much do you need to stop on? Is it a Bandit? I think.
Does it say?
No,
I think
Nigel's got a Bandit.
I think you still got your Bandit. I don't think you need anything special on a Bandit. That's a great thing about the Bandit. All the consumables can be middle of the road. They don't really cost much. But you don't need high performance anything on a Bandit, really.
He also wants to know: does the monkey have a name on your Monkey Boy t-shirt?
Well, it's always been Delboy, isn't it? That's what it is. It's meant to be me, mate. That's what she said. She drew it. Well, she didn't actually. It was a good man of work.
Competition
Travis.
time.
It
Name
was.
the monkey.
Travis.
Name the mug, yeah. Names on it, yeah. Suggestions on a £10 note, please. Send them in, and we'll pick the winner. I don't know. It's meant to be me, but you can choose a name. So let's have some suggestions for the names.
Right. The next one, lovable biker. After you've had an accident on a bike, why do you never feel the same riding it?
Usually because it's big.
Yeah,
Especially if you stuffed in a tree.
it only goes left down bend.
It only goes left. Work around. I don't know. That's normal, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
falling down the stairs. You suddenly want to buy a bungalow. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't
Get
know
some
really.
therapy.
Yes, yes, yeah. Jack Daniels, that'll sort it out, mate. I don't know really. I think it's always fear, isn't it? Trepidation. If a dog bites you, you're probably not going to go and pat it on the head the next time you see it, are you? I don't know.
Without a very big glove on.
It's rare that things happen twice. So if it's happened once, it's unlikely to happen exactly like that again.
I have not found that to be the case. I've successfully fallen off on the same bend, but more than once. You don't learn from these things, do you?
Goes off.
Oh, here we go again.
Right, moving on then. Chris Mann.
You've been told.
Chris Mann. Chris. My bike has
Chris,
a
hello Chris, all right mate.
Yamaha two-stroke engine, awaiting the mocking and abuse.
Nothing wrong with
No, it's all mate. Absolutely,
What
top
can
man.
I do to reduce the smoking?
Get one of those puffing
They're quite
devices.
expensive.
Yeah, like
an
an e-reader thing on that.
Can you get an E2 stroke?
What is it, mate?
Is it a Kobo?
An E2 stroke, yeah. It's not a smoke officer, it's vapour.
It's water vapour.
It's water.
Nothing more sinister than
And it
that.
smells of strawberries.
Rhubarb and custard.
Yeah, absolutely. Rhubarb and custard officer. That's not Castellar. What's the matter with you?
Anyway, sorry Chris.
So-
what can he do to stop this smoking?
If it's cold weather, they do smoke in
Well,
the cold.
decoke, I suppose. It might be due.
Don't cause them to smoke, just gums them up. don't
Yeah, well, but it's
You could always decoke it, yeah.
Yeah.
If you bimble them around too much, you sometimes need to change the heat plug rating.
Yes.
That makes a
Yes.
big difference. I've lost all the kind of two-stroke knowledge because the last time I had one was your LC, 15 years ago. So I don't know whether or not it's correct exactly, and I know the two-stroke knowers out there might correct me, but I believe that the critical issue in two-stroke is getting the plug heat right. So the manufacturer, if for instance the manufacturer gives you a broad range plug, doesn't it, for average use, if you're ragging it all the time, you need a killer plug.
Which way around is
Hot
it?
plug? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
You'd have to look it up, so I can't give the exact
But
advice.
it does make quite a bit of difference.
It does, because that's then you get a better flame front across the top of the piston and you're burning all of the oil that's in the mixture. Also, check your mixtures right, check you're not over delivering oil. Sometimes your oil pumps can be unreliable, you may wish to go to premix. A lot of people with two-stroke bikes have suffered a seizure in the past, and they take the fuel pump, disconnect it all, and they just run premix in the tank. Then you can make sure you get your fuel mixture exactly right, and also finally is your oil itself. Whatever two-stroke oil you're using, check that that's correct and recommended. So there's all kinds of things.
Okay,
Hope it helps.
Ryan JMV.
Right.
He's got a 2010 YZF-R 125, had it since 13, but in cold weather, when I'm riding it, it stinks, like burning oil, but my oil level is fine, I don't see any dreaded blue
It's a leak.
smoke. Thought it was coolant, but coolant is fresh, 500 miles or so, it doesn't overheat, not even on a 100+ mile trip.
I'd say.
Any thoughts what it
Yeah.
might be?
I'd say you've probably got an oil leak leaking onto your exhaust. This is a common one with little bikes. You'll get the oil filter that screws in, may not be tightly screwed in. You get a little weepage of oil, or from somewhere else, or even coolant, and it's leaking onto the exhaust, and the smell is that oil vaporising and burning on your exhaust. If you want to test whether it's that, get a little bit of oil from your garage somewhere, just paint it on your exhaust and start the bike up. If the smell that comes off is the same, you know you've got an oil leak, or just have a look. You'll see it coming out underneath. So if there's oil under the bike and the underneath of your engine's oily, you probably find that's leaking onto exhaust and vaporising. But if you've got no blue smoke and you've got no porridge in the oil, you've got no coolant leak or anything like that, then it's probably something leaking externally. What do you say?
Sounds about right. I mean, it'll be exaggerated in the wet because whatever you've got sort of slopping about on the engine and whatever, it's that much freer to move and find its way somewhere hot.
It is, yeah, so. Definitely.
Cool. Atom 314159. Did you add that up?
Is that his phone number?
I'll give him a ring.
Yeah, give him a ring.
What skill do you want to learn on your bikes or other projects? That's if you haven't got all the skills you think you need, like welding and painting.
Yeah, never have them all, can you?
No, you never have them all. I would say TIG welding for me. I would love to perfect TIG welding to a standard where I can weld frames of a quality, not just snot them together.
Well, it saves me the bother then, doesn't it? I don't need to learn it if you learn it.
But that would be cool. That'd be for me, definitely. TIG welding. What about you, Penny? What would you like to learn?
Well, I've been doing a few jobs lately.
You said painting to me the other day, didn't you?
Painting, well, I've got something coming up shortly.
Yeah, so...
I might actually tell him to leave me alone. I might do it myself.
Can you imagine coming in the garage and seeing what's left? That's all right.
Nearly got you.
It's just painting a hand grenade, isn't it?
It is.
That's all you
What
do.
about you, mate?
Patience. I'd like to learn patience because I don't.
That's very deep.
Yeah, well, because the kind of stuff I do, you sort of start off with the very best of intentions, and then you run out of day, don't you?
Yeah.
You know.
I guess it is.
And things get rushed and hurried, and you get 90% of it's fantastic, and then the last 10%, things are ruined because you're up against a time scale or whatever.
Right.
I'd just like to learn to pace myself a bit.
Absolutely.
And he wants to know also, where did the tube name Moonfleet 41 come from? That wasn't really our tube name. It should be Delboy's Garage.
Yeah, kind
we
of.
Can't change it.
We started off. I used to just watch people like Milo and Bethel Brothers Hot Rod and so on, and in order to comment, you have to have a channel, don't you? You can't comment unless you do. So just in order to comment, back in when I was 41, which is what, 8 years ago.
She's all week before last.
Week before last, I wish. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. Back then, that just and the name of your business, name of Penny's business is Moonfleet, and I was 41. That's simple as that. It ain't hard. It's never deep here. It's always quite simple. And we tried to change when I started doing videos. We tried to change it to Delboy's Garage as the name, but they don't let you do that, do they? You can't change the name of a channel. Once it's set, it's set. It's not a new channel. They didn't want to leave 200 videos behind and then start a new one, so they've all ended up on Moonfleet 41. Cool.
Ashley Evans, a tech question. I have an XJ600 diversion and looking to put a K&N filter on. You can wash it and reuse it. What other benefits do you think it gives?
It's cheaper.
I like K&N.
Yeah, they breathe a bit easier, don't they?
Yeah, and the rate at which they clog is more linear.
Yeah.
You get a standard issue paper filter.
Yeah.
Half of its airflow is clogged up probably within the first 1,000 miles.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. It's like you take out a white paper filter, the panel filters especially, and you'll get a circle of dirt right where the inlet is, but the rest is clean. Whereas I came in, they all seem to get dirty.
It's much. Yeah,
I think it's because they suck the air through every section of it.
It's much more even, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're better. And obviously the other side of it as well is if you look at it long term, it's going to save you a lot of money in the sense you don't have to keep replacing it, and they don't succumb to moisture either.
No,
they don't clog up. So really damp atmosphere, really rainy weather all the time, they don't seem to get that bogginess that you feel with a paper filter.
His second question was, what's your thoughts on the way the new license is done with this restriction to the A2? The trouble is, we can't have an opinion really because we can't change fact.
You can't change it
because I've always got an opinion.
Yeah, I've always got one too. I'm going to stick my neck out here. I'm going to say, honestly, I think it's bullshit. Right the way across the board, the way that they make learners jump through hoops today to take their test is doing nothing but dissuading young people from taking their test, and I think that's a terrible thing. It truly is. You know, let's go down that same old road. It's motorcycles reduce congestion, they reduce pollution, yada yada, but it doesn't seem to get through to the government. They still seem to be making it harder and harder and harder all the time for young people to get.
Yeah, because they collect more duty
revenue
from fuel use
and
more road tax.
Well, the other side of it as well, isn't it, that every car driver that is or was a biker is a better car driver.
In fact, this has been statistically proven.
It's fact.
Time and time again,
absolutely,
doesn't it?
Absolutely. So I do believe that if every young person had to wait till they were 21 before they could drive a car, and the licence to take a bike test was at, wait for it, 15, you should be able to ride a moped at 15, and at 16, a 250cc bike right the way through to your full test. And I do believe that would be a far more progressive way to do it, and I hope that things like people like instructors, Roadcraft Knighton and people like that may well even agree. I do believe it is far too difficult now. It doesn't focus on the skills, it focuses on jumping through hoops. So instructors are preoccupied with teaching riders how to get through a test, not how to ride, which is kind of slightly more important, isn't it?
And actually, and it's counterproductive anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because there's nothing to stop you taking your CBT and never taking any tests at all.
Absolutely. And they used to be.
Yeah.
They used to be. But there you go. So
can't change it.
No, they can't change it, but I think it's crap, mate, for what it's worth. I think you all have a rough old time, and I probably wouldn't take my test now because it just makes me angry.
Really go and do base jumping or something instead.
Yeah, would you? Drive a pickup truck, put out some rusty street laps, boy.
Right, I think this is the last one before we end.
We need, how many have we got through?
25.
I've only had one, Kate.
We've only had one, we'll have another one next time. So this is, how many have we been at this?
Million, 45 minutes.
Might be right.
The question, this
Time
is
flies.
Don't be waffle.
Endos Rudas. Ray.
Hello Ray, you right mate?
Replacing the brake lines on a Kawasaki ER613 with ABS.
Ooh.
He wants to put some braided lines on, but he's been told that with the ABS model it isn't simple to swap them around.
It's not.
Can you clarify? Does he need to do anything out of the ordinary when replacing brake lines on a bike with ABS?
Right, well,
It's a difficult one to describe actually,
How
rather
does
without
he
showing.
bleed the system afterwards?
right, that's the question here, is physically swapping the pipes is easy because you just unbolt and rebolt. That's not hard, and you can buy the kits and that's fine. It's bleeding it up or plumbing it all safely and accurately that is a technician's job. And I do this quite often and say, I believe that if you don't know, it is your brakes, it is your ass, and I think you should take it to a mechanic, a technician who can plumb those brakes up and do it for you. Invest in that safety. You're doing 75, 80 mile an hour up the road, you need your brakes all of a sudden, and you plumbed them in and made a mistake. Not going to be a good day, is it? It's not going to be a good
your whole afternoon.
Spoil your whole afternoon, couldn't it? Yeah. So I would say for that job, like people who keep asking on and on about valve clearances and the like, some things you should know when to hand over. I do. There are many jobs, electrical diagnostic stuff. I'd rather than hand them to our mate Sean. He knows everything about everything and he could definitely fix it for me, and I know it's right. I'd just rather just pay the money and be happy. Sometimes that's the right way. Not everything should be done yourself.
Know your limitations.
Know your limitations. That's very good.
That's a great
That's a
phrase.
great phrase to end on, is it? Could I have a cup of tea now?
You can,
Would you like
but
that?
just before we go
Go
on this one, I just wanted to say to Dave, thanks for coming over this Christmas. And as it's Christmas, I bought you some Easter eggs.
Thank you very much.
There you go, so you can eat all them in the intermission.
I was going to wedge one in a tonic tea cake.
Like a cocktail.
We need to go and make some tea.
We need to make some tea. Thanks for watching episode 7, Ride Safe, and we'll see you very shortly for the next one. That's done. I didn't even know that was coming. Brilliant.
Thanks for coming over.